Hey YouTube, good evening, good evening. Come on in. We got a lot to talk about. Come on in. Make sure you complete the poll. Happy Sunday. It's cold. It's cold. Come on in. I hope you all are safe and warm. We have a lot to talk about. Child. It is a lot going on. Come on in. What's today? Sunday, the 1st, Black History Month, February 1st. Give you all time to come on in before I get started. Come on in. Please hit the like button as you come on in. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Where are you located? How's the weather where you're located? I'm in Georgia. How are you doing? We got a lot to talk about tonight. There's a lot been going on since the last time I came on live. I think it was maybe last weekend. So we're going to talk about some things. I'm taking a chance talking about these files, you all, because YouTube don't like for me to talk about the files because I kind of go deep with them because I got like a lot of kind of like information about it, just background from it. I started covering, the situation with the Epstein files like last year. And I noticed that whenever I talk about them, like YouTube will like mess with my live stream. So just keep that in mind as we go through tonight's show. So the Epstein files, stay tuned because that's going to be the final thing that I really get into. So there's going to be some other things I want to talk about prior to the Epstein files. But make sure you complete the poll. But yes, so child, it's a reason why they be shadow banning your girl. Listen, it is a reason. So make sure you are subscribed to this channel because I come to you with a lot of detailed information that other platforms don't kind of come to you with, at least not on the level that I do. But again, I'm not connected to any like large platform or anything like that. So I have that freedom to kind of talk my talk. And a lot of these mainstream outlets, they talk according to the messaging that their employer directs them to, when you're looking at your large networks, Fox, CNN, MSNBC. I'm not connected to any networks like that, so I can freely talk. So that's the beauty of just being just an independent, small content creator. I do not have to worry about censorship on that type of level. So just please know that anything that I do say over here, it's not driven by someone else. These are my thoughts. These are my thoughts. So come on in, like the video. Hey, Pam, how are you? Indiana, you said it's cold, lots of snow. Yes, we got snow yesterday. Today was just a cold day. So we have the sun out. So things are kind of trying, I guess, to do a little something with melting away. But it's very cold here. But fortunately, in my area, I didn't get a lot of snow. But it was enough because, child, we ain't about that life here in Georgia. At least not in the parts in the suburbs where I live. So you all come on in. Do me a solid. Complete the poll. Let me know your thoughts on the latest release of the Epstein files because I have my thoughts and opinions on that. I need to make a note to make sure that I get into Michael Wolff. Any of you all familiar with Michael Wolff, journalist Michael Wolff? See, when I be talking about Michael Wolff, that's when YouTube be like, she doing too much. She doing too much. Stuff starts spinning. And y'all like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. So y'all, on my end, how I know when YouTube don't like what I'm talking about, it'll start like buffing. And then on your end, I think it'll just maybe have me frozen or you don't hear the sound. So just know during this live at any point, if you stop hearing the sound or if it start buffing, just something funky start happening, just know it's YouTube. And typically that will happen a lot of times when I get into Epstein files. Like I've been around, I covered content like all of last year. That's when I started talking politics. So I know certain things, like the keywords that they don't like for me to say, and I know it's rooted because, child, I go hard in the pain. I be doing my research, and I come and bring you all the tea as to what I found about the topic. And yeah, it just be a lot, and YouTube don't like me talking about it. So, but we're gonna go ahead and get into it tonight. So listen, y'all didn't gave y'all forewarned y'all if we start having some technical problems. So make sure you complete the poll, because I want to do a temperature check to know how you all are feeling concerning these Epstein files. But first up, I want to talk about this government shutdown. There is we are in the midst of a I guess you would call it a partial government shutdown right now that started on Saturday. So that was yesterday, January 31st. January 31st, we are in a partial shutdown. I want to point out the areas of that's impacted by the shutdown, because it's not the same as the last shutdown we had, because the last shutdown we had, it was just a regular, just full blown out shutdown. Like, child, anyway, if you affiliated with the feds, you ain't get no check. You see what I'm saying? Whereas this time around, that's not the case. It's only like certain agencies, certain parts of the federal government that's impacted by the shutdown. So I want to get into that. We're also going to get into the release of Liam Ramos. Y'all remember that 5-year-old, that baby, that cute little baby boy who they was trying to get his daddy, and his daddy just got the hell on and left the baby, and then ICE sitting with the baby, and they trying to go to the door to knock on the door to let and the mama in there, they in there not breathing. You know how somebody at the door and you not, maybe y'all know how y'all be treating them Jehovah Witnesses and them people that come to your door and you just don't move because you think that from the outside they can see you moving and you don't want them to know that you in there. Well, that's how the family was kind of treating the ICE people. They was treating them like the Jehovah Witness, giving them the Jehovah Witness treatment. So I want to get into that so we can talk about really how the baby ended up in custody with ICE. So stay tuned. As you are joining, please complete the poll. Government shutdown. Let me know in the chat if any of you work for the government, because once again, this partial shutdown will impact air travel. I repeat, it's going to impact air travel. So if you have any trips planned coming up, I know I do have a business trip coming up later this month. I'm like, Lord, child, because the last shutdown, it kind of impacted I was on a business trip. This will be my second time being impacted with my travels, as a result of a government shutdown. So you all get ready. It will impact your travel, specifically the air traffic controllers and TSA agents. They will be working once again with no paycheck. Air traffic controllers and TSA agents, they must report to work because they are considered essential workers. They will be working without pay. So y'all don't be going in them airports acting crazy, talking to them folks crazy. Please keep in mind when you go through these airports that these people that you will be encountering, the TSA workers, they are working without pay. That took effect starting Saturday, January 31st, 2026. Word on the curb is that it could very well likely be just as long as the last one. What was the last one? Was that about 45 days? It broke the record. It was, a historical record for the longest government shutdown. So it's unfortunate that we're here again today. Y'all, can y'all imagine working your job? So y'all, come on, follow with me, y'all. We finna talk tonight. Y'all come on in here like this. Why I only got 7 likes and it's 73 people? I don't know why y'all be playing with. I don't know. I be telling y'all, trying to bring the tea to y'all. YouTube get to messing with me, buffing the video, and y'all can't even at least give me the girl a like. Anyway, but think about it, y'all. Think about the job that you do. Most of y'all probably can't even stand the job that you show up to every day. Can you imagine doing that job that you already don't like and not getting paid? Let that sink in. Let that sink in. Think about it. Everybody know, you know what your little situation is. Can you imagine doing it for free? For the free? Okay, so that's what these people is about. That's what they're about to experience once again. They are about to experience going to work, showing up, dealing with all these people, all these personalities for free. Yeah. So keep that in mind as you're traveling and you're going inside of these airports that these people like think about twice. And then let's talk about the bills and the responsibilities that you have when just every day your responsibility. Can you tell your landlord, the people at the power company, like the people who hold the loans to your vehicle, like, listen, I'm not getting a check because we on a government shut. Like, they not trying to hear that. That's the thing. And a lot of these people are probably still trying to play catch up from the last government shutdown, because really, y'all, low key, that wasn't that long ago. The last government shutdown, that wasn't that long ago. That was literally right. That ended like right before what, Thanksgiving? And now we back here again. I just can't even imagine. And then with the job market, it's not like we're in these times where the people be like, bet, forget it. I'm about to find me another new job. I'm about to replace this federal job and go work for somewhere else. People aren't hiring like that. So I'm sure the bulk of those people who were still working at TSA, the majority of those people who were still working at TSA when the shutdown ended last year, what was that, like November-ish, whenever it ended, I'm sure those people still are on that job. They didn't quit and go find a non-federal job, because people, like, you're more so hearing, seeing, reading headlines about companies who are laying off people, not doing like hiring. What they've been reporting all of last year was that companies are slow. Let me see. They're quick to, they're not doing a lot of growth. So they're just saying, yo, we're going to just make it do what it do with what we have versus just bringing in an influx of new hires. You see what I'm saying? They're not bringing in an influx of new hires. They're like, yo, we just going to chill. These little 50 works, however many workers we got, we're going to just try to make that work. You see? So it doesn't leave room for, like, say if people, the federal workers quit their federal jobs and they say, hey, I'm going to go get a non-government job. It's not that easy like that. So here it is, these same people are now going to be back in a situation to where they're going to have to be stealing from Peter to pay Paul, which they probably already do anyway, getting a check. Like, really think about it. Think about just what your situation already is right now, and you get a steady check, and you still be wondering how things are going to be taken care of and paid on time. You know what I'm saying? So imagine if you ain't even got the money coming in. That's a whole nother stress right there. That's an entire different stress. So these people now are back into this situation where they're going to have to be working, hoping that these government officials who are still getting paid as they play games with each other, because to me, I feel like that's what they do, because there's no incentive for them to play fair with one another. Why? Because they're collecting a check. It just never set well to me how the people who are in control over whether or not you get paid by a decision they make, their check is not halted in the meantime. You see what I'm saying? Because I feel like people would be more motivated to make a decision if their check was on the line as well. So, for example, if these federal workers, these government workers who got to make these decisions, if they knew, like, okay, we're not going to get paid until we have we come to a decision and agreement, I feel like that would motivate people to say, you know what, we got to come to a decision, because I got this yacht that I ordered. I need to make my final payment on this yacht. You know what I'm saying? We got this house being built. They about to be done. I got things I need to pay. I need to finish paying these contractors. People are typically motivated by money. And so it's just very unfortunate that these people who got to make these decisions, there's nothing really sitting to have them to be motivated by. Very sad situation. Y'all come on in here. We're talking about this government shutdown. Another big group that is going to impact you all, as far as with this government shutdown, is housing. Local officials have expressed concerns over the potential disruptions of Section 8. Come on, anybody in here on Section 8? How many of you on Section 8, been on Section 8, know somebody that's on Section 8? Section 8 payments will be halted. So when that happens, you also let me know if you're someone who maybe has properties and you lease them through the Section 8 program. Because here's the thing, if you have a tenant and they have Section 8, and they are unable to, and the government does not pay their portion of the rent. So this is how it works. For those of you who new to this and ain't true to this when it comes to Section 8, I've never been on Section 8, but I growing up, my mom at a point was on Section 8, family member, child. I said, if you know somebody that knows somebody that was on Section 8, this is how it works. So let's just say the rent is $1,000. Section 8, like, yo, we'll pay 800 of that. You're responsible paying the other 200. You see what I'm saying? So now with this government shutdown, Section 8 may very well, if the government is still shut down, may not send the landlord, the owner of the home, their $800. However, if you're a Section 8 voucher holder, you are still responsible for paying your, in this example, $200. Y'all see what I'm saying? So just because the government like, yo, we ain't got ours, that ain't got nothing to do with you. You still need to come to the table with yours. Now, back to the landlords. The landlord cannot legally put you out or evict you because the government hasn't sent in their portion. You see what I'm saying? So that's the tough spot that a lot of the homeowners will be in, because remember, the mortgage is in their name. So they still have to have these monies to still pay the mortgage every month, regardless of if the tenant has it or not. Y'all see, that's anyone who knows anything about real estate, whoever them own a home, you know how it works. The lender don't care who the money coming from. They just like, yo, run me my money. So it puts like, everybody is like in a situation. You got the tenant in a situation, and then you got the landlord in a situation. And the landlord's like, yo, I need to get this bill paid. I can't afford to pay my bills in the home I'm staying in, plus pay the mortgage on the house that I'm leasing, which is understandable. But it puts them in a situation because they can't just put that tenant out and replace them with someone who can pay. It doesn't work that way. They will get in trouble. Ain't that some ish that you are the one on the line or in trouble when your tenant can't pay their bills, when the bill can't get paid, but they like, I dare you, I double dare you to put that tenant out. You can't do it. So please understand that. If you have a Section 8 tenant with the government shutdown, you cannot evict them. As long as they're still paying their portion, whatever that amount is, you cannot evict them. Baby, you probably still can't even evict them even if they stop paying their portion. So what I'm saying is that you just gonna have to deal with it. You're just gonna have to deal with it and just. All right. Hopefully you all can still hear me. I had a call coming through. You all will have to deal with it. So that's just the pickle that people are in right now, centered around just with this government shutdown. You all can still hear me. Cool. Thank you. You all come on in, like the video, complete the survey. What else we got? So it can't be any evictions popping off centered around Section 8. Passport services. Okay, so as far as when it comes to passport services, let me see. No, can you all hear me? Let me know. Can you all hear me? Because my numbers are playing around. I just want to make sure that it's not just YouTube playing with the numbers, because I've seen it drastically drop. Can you all hear me? Yes, yes. Thank you, you all. Thank you for letting me know. Passport services. The State Department generally continues passports and visa processing using free funded accounts, though some non-emergency functions may be slowed down. Immigration services. Immigration. Funding for the Department of Homeland Security is primarily a sticky point. Services like E-Verify may be offline and processing for applications. So if you are pending immigration services, if you're pending immigration services, there likely is going to be a halt in that process. There will be a halt in the immigration process. So just keep that in mind. Again, we don't know how long this partial government shutdown is going to be, but right now, let me tell you, the Democrats are like, yo, we need for you Republicans to defund the Department of Homeland Security. They're like that, like you got to take some money. Like this is why we're here, because they're like, yo, we were gonna agree with what y'all was trying to do, like centered around like the healthcare and all of that, but now we're like, nah, we need for you all to defund the Department of Homeland Security, ICE, meaning ICE. They want to take away funding from ICE. They're like, they doing too much. Following the Alex Preddy situation when he was murdered, lost his life, well, like a week or so ago, they were like, nah, y'all need to, we were gonna, play y'all game, but not anymore. We changed our mind. So you need to go ahead and remove some funds from the Department of Homeland Security. There's supposed to be a vote tomorrow. So there's supposed to be like another defund Homeland Security, defund Homeland Security. Yes. Defund yes. Defund Homeland Security. The Democrats want the Republicans to defund Homeland Security. Make sure I'm getting that right. Defund, take away some money, because the big beautiful bill, incorporated like a lot of funding and things for like ICE and things like that. So they're like, you need to kind of scale that back in order for us to sign off on this. What else? Tomorrow is supposed to be like a vote. Tomorrow is supposed to be like another vote that's supposed to take place, centered around this shutdown. So, who is that? Mike Johnson, he's like, yo, Trump's like, yo, he really wants us to just hold it down and not vote against what he's trying to do. So it is expected that the vast majority of the Republicans will proceed, with the vote of not reducing or cutting the funds centered around the Department of Homeland Security. So right now, it's like some people, I think they're just being optimistic when they say, oh, it's not going to be as long of a shutdown as the last one. I'm not seeing signs of that being true. Like, I'm not seeing signs that it's going to be shorter than the last one, because for that to not take place, they're going to have to play well with one. They're going to have to come to some type of agreement, and use like it could be longer, because from what I'm hearing, the Democrats are already saying like, listen, we're not doing what we did last time, where we're not breaking the line, because y'all know it's always somebody to break the line and they get cussed out, and then they get threatened about not getting not losing votes and stuff at the upcoming child. Like, it'd be a mess every time somebody break the line. Oh, they get cussed smooth the hell out by the party. They get shamed to the gods. So for what I'm hearing, they're like, nobody's trying to go through that again. They're like, listen, I'm going to hold the line. I'm not getting cussed out again by breaking the line. I'm not doing it. So for right now, everybody is saying, I'm standing on business. I'm standing 10 toes down. So we going to see if it's going to happen that way, because y'all know in the beginning, it always start like that. Everybody kind of locked in arms. And then as time goes, it starts getting weaker and weaker. And I think a lot of it, when it starts to kind of the chains start to break, is when you start to hear or see these headlines where the people are impacted. Like, say, for example, with the airports, y'all remember it was a mess at the airports. It was a mess. Y'all remember air traffic control. They was talking about they weren't getting paid. They were short-staffed. The government was trying to find monies to pay them. Y'all remember the military got caught up. The government had to go go print some money from somewhere so they can pay them. They were just, it was just crazy. It was just crazy. So I think that just with the headlines and seeing all these people tell their stories about the struggles that they were going through, like, I felt bad for the people. I felt bad. Like, I know a couple where the husband and the wife both work for the airport, both work for, one's a TSA worker, one's another worker through the federal government. Both of them, same home, live a upper middle class life, no check coming in. Like, think about it. Can you imagine you owe? It's one thing if one person's check in the house is impacted, but both parties' checks is impacted. That was crazy, yo. So they impact that they and that was their second time dealing with that. This is now going to be a third time that this family is going to have to deal with both of them not having a check coming in. Crazy. These are the times, y'all. These are the times. This is where we are at. Um, if you know somebody who works for TSA or who works for air travel or impacted any type of way, like I said, just be kind to them. If you are able to help them out in any type of way, donations, food. I think with the airport situation, employees, there were people who were like dropping off food. Like I live in Atlanta, so like in Georgia, on the outskirts in the suburbs of Atlanta, but like Hartsfield International Airport is like a really big airport. So like a lot of people I know in the past during shutdowns were like donating food, gift cards, things like that. You know what I'm saying? You do what you can because these people, they're just going without and still having to show up for you. Just think about that. They're still having to show up for you because many of you may very well be traveling while this government shutdown is in place. I'm just saying, let me get into some of these comments. You all make sure you please complete the poll and like the video as you come on in. AI said, if you work for the government and you have lived in the past 10 years as an adult, then you should always make multiple streams of income. That part, I've never worked for the government, but I can understand, why you definitely believe that. To be honest, I just think with any type of industry, anybody working these days, it will behoove you to try to have multiple streams of income because the times we are living in, it's really hard to make it do what it do with just one. And there are a lot of households where there is just only one income. And even households that have two incomes, child, the struggle is real. And don't let you throw kids up in a situation. You got kids to take care of too. How many of y'all are like, oh, child, I'm struggling. I can't even imagine if I had children to look after because I hear so many people say that because they see how hard it is. And then they're like, wow, it's hard for me. I can't imagine doing this and having a child. And I believe that is why a lot of the younger generation, like the younger people, what was that? They will be I don't know if are they the Gen Xers where they're like not really having kids like that on that type of level because they're like times is hard. A lot of them are still living at home with mom and dad. They're like I have a family member. She has her PhD in physical therapy. She's just had her 26th birthday last month. And she's like, I don't want to move out. It's too hard. Like, she doesn't have any kids or anything. Single lady, still, only child. She was like, I don't want to move. And she has a PhD, which is what's I ain't even Google what percentage of people out here with a PhD, but she has a whole PhD. And she was like, yo, I ain't even trying to be outside because I cannot. Imagine what her salary, I don't even know what her salary looks like, but I'm sure that with a PhD, it's going to be higher than most. It is going to be higher than most. And it's still not enough for her to say, yo, I feel confident with going out here and doing this thing called life by myself. Sis ain't trying to do it. I'm not mad at her. So that's why I'm like, yo, it is hard. I say all day, every day. It's hard out here for a pimp. Pimping ain't easy. It's hard for everybody. This is a global thing. This ain't no Georgia thing, no New York thing, no California thing, no Minneapolis thing, no West Africa thing. Like, it's just hard. It is hard. When you know, you know. When you know, you know. Speaking of it being hard out here, baby boy Liam Ramos, the 5-year-old that ICE rounded up. Listen, Liam like, yo, Sheik, you ain't never lied. It is hard out here. They had me up in this ICE facility. My stomach was all messed up. I couldn't eat. Listen, I was down bad. Liam, the 5-year-old baby, what was that? ICE picked him up, I think on January 20th. Y'all seen that when ICE was out to pick up his father and then the daddy took off running and left the baby? Y'all seen that? So ICE had orders to go round up Daddy because he's a legal immigrant. What was his daddy name? Is Adrian Arias. So ICE had them orders to go round up Daddy. Daddy had the son, baby boy. He had Liam with him. I guess they outside the house. Daddy didn't took out and hauled it. Daddy gone. Daddy out there looking like Forrest Gump. He didn't gone. Like he'd have left. Y'all ever seen some of them crime videos and the people got their kid and they take off and run and leaving the kid? Okay, unfortunately, you typically see it for some reason, with the daddy and the child. I ain't seen one yet with the mama leaving the kids, but I've seen multiple of them with the daddy leaving the child. But anyway, daddy then took off and ran. So I are stuck with the baby, 5-year-old. So they go to the front door, knock, knock, knock. They got baby. I told you they done treated the people, Liam mama treating the ICE like the Jehovah Witness. When you in there and you ain't breathing because you don't want them to know that you inside, they refuse to open up the door. They refused to open up the door. ICE could not get in there. So what? They took the child with them. And that means the baby wound up in a detention center and was at Dilley, Texas. Is that how you pronounce it? Dilley, Texas, Dilley. So that's the detention center. That's the detention center where they took the baby to. And I think Adrian was also taken to the same one. So a judge have ordered for the detention center for ICE to release not only Liam, but his father as well. Liam and his daddy both had to get released. I'm going to share my screen, you all, for People Magazine, because I learned some information pertaining to this situation with the conditions of Liam, I guess, while he was at the ICE detention center. So this is peoplemagazine.com. This is little Liam, just in case if you all not familiar with him and his story. Cute little boy. And so let's get into this article. As you all come in, please like the video, like and share, subscribe. Liam Conejo Ramos, a 5-year-old boy who was detained by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement ICE agents, went viral, has returned to Minneapolis with his father, Adrian, after they were released from the detention center in Texas. On Sunday, February 1st, the father-son duo boarded a plane to Minnesota as seen on footage obtained by ABC News. The pair went viral back in January when ICE agents detained them in their driveway following their return home from Conejo Ramos preschool. So remember I told y'all that the ICE, they ran up on, the daddy. The daddy took off running. He took off running. Mama was in the house apparently, but she didn't come to the door. They didn't come to the door to let him in. Also, for what I'm hearing is that daddy was telling mama and whoever was in the house, don't open up the door. Don't open up the door. So they did not open up the door. They went ahead and just took the baby with them. Look at his little face. Look at his little face. Innocent baby boy. There's so many kids who have just been caught up in the situation centered around this immigration. It's just not even funny. Quote, "I'm happy to finally be going home," Adrian told ABC News as he carried his sleeping son onto the aircraft. Their trip home comes a day after the Minneapolis judge ordered that Adrian and Liam be released from the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, Texas. Dilley, Texas. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So let's see what the judge said. The judge was like, we go ahead and let these folks out. Judge Fred Bowery of the Federal District Court for the Western District of Texas pointed out, quote, "Ill-conceived and incompetently government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children," according to the order obtained by the New York Times. So this judge was like, yo, I want you to free not only baby Liam, but you need to free his daddy Adrian as well, because y'all was on some other type of stuff with going after them, with picking him up and doing this in front of his child just so you can meet a quota. So this is the sentiment of the judge. He also called out the government's ignorance of an American historical document called the Declaration of Independence. Observing human behavior confirms that for some among us, the perfidious lust for unbridled power and the imposition of cruelty in its quest no bounds in our benefit of human decency. Beery continued, per the times, and the rule of law be damned. So he was like, people are out here just doing whatever it is that they feel like they need to do for their quota, business, or whatever, and not caring about human decency. That's basically what the judge feel like. Like, oh, y'all doing this for the gram. Y'all doing this for the gram. Let me see. In the days before their release, Zena Stevick, a superintendent for Liam's Columbia Heights Public School District, told the Huffington Post that Liam was not doing great health-wise while he was being held at the detention center. So listen, they said, they had Liam in custody, but they was like, baby wasn't doing that well. Remember, keep in mind, he's only 5. Quote, he's been ill, she told the outlet. I've been told that he has a fever. So I'm very, very concerned about his well-being in that facility. On January 26th, Liam's mom, Erica Ramos, told NPR News that she found her husband and son's situation deeply concerning. Now, keep in mind, you all, the husband is, he was being picked up as being here illegally. So that's just the front of the story. Like, that's the backstory. It all started from them going to pick up an illegal immigrant. Quote, Liam is getting sick because the food they receive is not of good quality. So mama said they're not feeding her baby good quality food, and that's why he's sick. She explained at that time he has stomach pain, he's vomiting, and he has a fever, and he no longer wants to eat. So Liam just wasn't doing well in that facility. Hell, I'm sure I wouldn't even be doing well in there. 2 days later, Democratic Texas Representative Joaquin Castro visited the family's residential center, the family residential center himself, and said in a post on X that while Liam's physical condition wasn't an emergency, the child had been sleeping a lot because he's been depressed and sad. So they're like, well, we went and checked him out. His condition isn't an emergency, but he has been sleeping a lot because he's depressed and he's sad. Remember, he's 5. He's not with anyone. His daddy's not with his mom. Like, he's just like, where am I? Where am I? Hell, I'll be depressed and sad, and I'm 45. He added that the whole country's been worried about him, as well as his schoolmates and educators, plus his legal team and his mom. So it looks like that's Liam. Let's see, who is he sitting with? So this is Representative Joaquin Castro visits Liam Ramos at Dilley Detention Center. So I guess maybe that's her who's holding him. She's holding him. After Liam and Canelo Arias were detained on January 20th, ICE agents allegedly asked the child to knock on the door of his home to see if any other people were inside. Stevick described the agents as essentially using a 5-year-old as bait. So y'all let me know, do y'all feel like ICE knocking on the door, that was to use the baby as bait? Because remember, daddy had already took off running. From my understanding, the order was to only to pick up the dad. So if daddy outside somewhere in the woods running, trying to get away, going to the door, I don't really know what motive there would be as far as with ICE going into the house, because I hadn't heard anything about ICE being after the mother as well. So to me, I don't know what other reason they would have to go knock on the door other than to take the child to the parents. Anyway, the family is following, quote, the family is following the U.S. legal parameters and has an active asylum case with no order of deportation. I have viewed the legal paperwork with my own eyes, she said in a statement to The Guardian and Fox 9, quote, why detain a 5-year-old? You cannot tell me that this child is going to be classified as a violent criminal. So let's get back to the whole thing of detaining a 5-year-old. They went to the door. No one opened up the door. So they took the child with them. Where were they supposed to take Liam? Where was the expectation to leave him outside? I don't know. Y'all let me know, because I'm trying to understand what was some other alternatives for this situation. Y'all let me know, because ICE went to the door Mom didn't answer the door. So they took the baby with them to the detention center. Y'all help me understand, because I don't ever claim to know it all on here. So I'm trying to understand, what are some other alternatives that ICE had as it pertains to the 5-year-old. I'm phoning a friend. I'm phoning 171 friends right now, because that's how many people checking out the live. Please like the video. I don't understand. I just really want, I truly want to understand what the other options were in this situation. Let me see. Where did I see? The family's lawyer, Mark Procos, I don't know, also echoed her sentiments at the time. The family did everything they were supposed to in accordance with how the rules have been set out, he told The Guardian. They did not come here illegally. They are not criminals. Meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security said it was not targeting the child, stating that it's ICE policy to ask parents if they want to be removed with their children. I've heard that before. They get the option. Do you want to leave your child here in America with someone who's a legal citizen, or do you want to take your child with you? I've reported on that all of 2025 when I covered politics on this channel. Please like, share, subscribe. Quote, as agents approached the driver, Adrian Alexander Caneo Reyes fled on foot, abandoning his child. So here's my thing. Why do you all think I'm trying to understand, y'all. Listen, I'm trying to understand. If he was on the up and up and he had paperwork or whatever that says that he was Gucci, he was good for being here, why do y'all think he took off and ran? Is that a natural response for someone who got their paperwork in order to run? Like, think about any of you that are here legally. If somebody's approaching you, is your first thought to take off, and it's someone of law enforcement, is your first thought to take off and run? Is your first thought to take off and run? Or is your first thought to say, hey, what's going on? Why are you harassing me? Why are you talking to me? And then proceed to, show your ID, whatever. To me, the way everything, the information is coming out, it's not aligning with someone who's here, who's rightfully here. I mean, like, it's what I'm saying. Why are you running? Child, if somebody, a law enforcement roll up on me, it is not my natural instinct to run. Because I'm like, I haven't done anything. So typically when you haven't done anything, you're not going to respond in a way that looks to be guilt. And I think, that's what happened. So he took off, he ran, the baby left outside, ICE at the door, knocking on the door, mama treating ICE like Jehovah's Witness, leaving them outside in the cold, not opening up the door to allow for them to let the baby back in the house. So what ICE did, they took the baby with them. Makes sense to me. I don't know, y'all. I don't know what I'm missing, but it makes sense to me. So that's where we are with that. The baby has been released. I think the judge had told them that by Tuesday they needed to have Liam and the father Adrian released from custody. So they were released, I think today. They got on a plane, I think today. They were released today. This article I'm looking at was from people.com if you want to check it out. The baby was in custody, but baby and his dad, they were in custody for 2 weeks. So, yeah. Chachi, you said parents abandoned that baby. I'm just trying to figure out what ICE did wrong in this situation as it pertains to baby Liam. I'm just trying to understand, y'all. Y'all help me, help me understand what I'm missing here, because I don't see any other options ICE had in this situation. If daddy took off running, mom in the house, not opening up the door. Richard, you asked, is the baby a legal citizen? I'm assuming based off of the birthright laws as they stand, he was born here, but I haven't seen that part come out in the article, anything insinuate that the baby wasn't here legally. So he's 5. So my initial thought is he probably was born here. He's young. My initial thought is he was probably born here, but I don't know. I don't know. Nancy says they are legal immigrants. So yeah, not sure on that part. That part wasn't his legal status of the baby on this People magazine article that I'm looking at. It didn't discuss the baby's legal status. So I don't know, but I would probably think that the baby was legal, but not sure. Not sure. Not sure. So come on in, like the video. Like the video. Y'all, we about to get into these Epstein files. Have y'all been following it? Baby, have y'all been following it? I came across some of the files that were deleted. So these Epstein files, there was a batch deleted this week, earlier during the week. And people were with the quick draw, with grabbing them, screen record. Y'all know how people do. I tell people the internet is forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. The internet is forever. Don't think that you can put something on the internet and just snatch it back real quick. Oh, it's always somebody who's seen it and who screenshot it. Like it is always. It never fails. It never fails. So there was some parts in all these gabillion pages of these Epstein files that talked about Trump. It talked about Trump, and then it went viral. It talked about Trump, and it went viral. And then the Department of Homeland Security went back and kind of removed the pages from the files. But I don't know if y'all know, any of y'all follow the content creator, the Midas Touch. Y'all familiar with it? That's YouTube channel. So they had on their X account posted content on their X account talking about these particular pages being removed, but they had saved them. So yours truly, I went and kind of, printed them out and things, because I don't think let me see, I'm gonna try to show my screen, because you all, if you go back and try to find those pages, it's like they removed them. It's just not, they were like, oh, my bad, we meant to remove those pages. But that's all right, because I have them, and we are going to go through these pages. We're going to go through these pages that were removed. Let me see. Let me show y'all. Let me turn my screen around. Y'all come on in here. Y'all familiar with this? So this is the Midas. So this MidasPlus.com. You guys can go to MidasPlus.com, and you can see these pages that I showed that I have in my hand, which are on this screen down here with the portions highlighted in yellow. So these are the pages that the Department of Homeland Security went back and removed. So they initially included it in the many pages that they recently released earlier during the week. But when it started going viral, this particular information about Trump, the allegations against Trump, when it started going viral, then they went in and removed the pages. But you can go to this website. You can, let me see. Midas, let me see. Can you all see Midas? It's MidasPlus.com. Let me see. I'm trying to make sure that it's like not blurry. MidasPlus.com. That's MEIDAS plus.com. You can go here and for free and download the pages that are here. And he said, he writes, to be clear, we do not know the extent to which these tips were corroborated or not corroborated, or whether they were fully investigated. What we do know is that shortly after the public was able to see them, the DOJ released the document. The public has a right to see this information and to know why it was removed. So we are publishing this now deleted document below, and we will continue to monitor and see if they republish the document. So I'm going to go into some of these, some of the information that's here. So it's very small. I couldn't really kind of get it that big for you all, but you can go out there. But I'm going to read some of the things that are on here. So stay tuned. You all like the video, like, share, and subscribe. Welcome. I hope you are having a wonderful evening. I hope you are safe and warm someplace. So within these documents, so this page that you're looking at, in the yellow, so at the top on the column, it says complaint summary. So it's just the logged complaints. So that means that someone, Aunt said, Midas touches the truth. Listen, y'all better get into it. That means that there was a complaint by someone, and then over here on this right, notable names, it's saying that that's the names of the parties, involved. So right now, it's redacted. But baby, listen, is redacted right there. So I have the documents, so you can go and try to find them yourself. But I'm going to read to you all these things that it's saying that some of you may not have seen with some of these complaints. Yeah. I'm going to read. Let me see which one I want to get into, because you all, as you can see, there's a lot. There is a lot. Let me see. Is this one from them and Eric were there? Okay. So here's one. I think let me make sure I got them in order because there's multiple pages. Let me see. Okay. Make sure I got them in order. There were attorney Bob. Finger. Okay. So listen up, buttercups. Listen up. So in one of these right here on this page, it's not letting me kind of zoom it in to make it bigger for you all, but I'm going to read what it says right here. You all come on in. It says Donald Trump, the president, had parties at Mar-a-Lago called quote unquote calendar girls, unquote. So he had parties called calendar girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He would measure the children's vulvas and vaginas by entering his fingers and rated the children on tightness. The guests were elder men, and they included Elon Musk, Donald Jr. Trump, Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump were there as well. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken into rooms, forced to give oral to Donald J. Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Donald Trump arred me. Ghislaine Maxwell was also present. So I told you all this was a part of the initial dump that came out this week. But when it started, what I just read, things started going viral in these documents that I'm showing you on my screen. They went back in and removed those pages. They went in and they removed the pages. I think I've heard that maybe they went in, they removed the pages because it's associated with a number. So here's the thing, you all. Let me go in here. This is the Department of Justice. So this is the website. If you all want to know how you could see all of the documents, you can go to justice.gov. So this is the U.S. Department of Justice. You can go there and download all the pages. It's in a zip file. So it's going to download in a zip file. The document that's in question that I'm reading from, you all see that number? It ends in 0679. It ends in 0679. So when you go to search by that number, let me try to search. Might have to refresh because I've had this page up for a while. Let's go out. Okay, go here. Yes, I'm 18. You're going to have to say if you're 18. Verified. You all see that it says page is not found. It's not found, but it's a page number that came from the document. So it was removed after it went viral. The page was removed after it went viral. That's one thing. Let's read some more. Let's read some more. Here's another one, you all. Come on in, like the video. In 2004 or 2005, Sir Ivan Wilczek hosted a party where Jeffrey Epstein, Sammy Sosa, and Donald Trump were in attendance. Patti LaBelle's PR agent stood at the door. At the party, caller met an individual who approximately aged 18 to 23 years of age, who was brought from Oklahoma for a modeling job, but then sold to a man in France. Several women were being auctioned, and a woman possibly known as Colette LNU was a madame. A couple of years later, caller saw Colette at the Cheetah Club in New York, New York, and she told one of Santos' friends that Jamie Foxx was interested in spending a night with her and that he could pay her a lot of money. So, just in this little portion that I talked about, it referenced Patti LaBelle's PR agent. So not Patti LaBelle, but her PR agent was apparently at this party. And it also referenced Jamie Foxx. It referenced Jamie Foxx. Interesting, right? So I'm just putting out this information that was later, shortly after it was released, it was removed. So I just want to share with you all. You all can form your own opinions as to why it was removed, why it was why it was included. Was it included because, hey, these are the facts? Was it later backtracked because, oh, snap, we didn't mean to let that go out. We want to kind of hold that because Trump is putting out there, listen, he said, listen, I haven't read these files, but I got people who I know and trust who have, and they said these files, they exonerate me, that it proves my innocence. Now, I don't understand what part of these files does that because that's not what I'm picking up from it. But that is his belief that the information that has come out, it basically clears his name. So I'm just reading you all this information that came out. Does it clear his name to you? Like, what do you think? Are you like, yep, this information exonerates him. He Gucci, he good. Let me know. Let me know. There's so many stories, you all, that has his name in it. It's just sad. And did you all see that also in these documents, was that Larry Levine, the guy from TMZ, his name was named in the documents. Jay-Z's name was named in the documents. Rapper Pusha T's name was named in the documents. Harvey Weinstein name. It's like there's so many people or celebrities whose names have been mentioned in these documents. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Let's see. Okay, so let's read another one that's in here. Complaint followed up after a call with NYPD officer regarding her previous tip, reporting that she was forced to perform oral sex acts when she was 13 years old and pregnant in 1984. Complaint also reported there were high-profile individuals involved in her sex trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. Complainant reported Donald Trump participated regularly in paying money to force her to perform sex acts with him and alleged Trump was present when her uncle murdered her newborn child. Y'all listen. If you want to know or see this information, I'm going to show you this website again. This is the MeidasPlus.com. It's spelled MEIDAS plus.com. You can go in there and you can download these documents I'm looking at to see for yourself. So you click this button right here with the file that has that file number. This is the number when you go to search. When I was trying to search on the website, it's not bringing up those documents, like that part of the documents anymore. So, yeah. So if you want to see it, just go there. It's free. You just go to the website and click this download. And you can see this information that I'm reading, that I'm sharing with you. You can see it for yourself. But it's quite disturbing. I've read some of, I haven't even gone through all of it, you all. Like, let's check out this poll. Let's see what the poll looking like. Did the latest release of Epstein files clear Trump of any wrongdoing? 47% say yes. And then 53% say no. I wonder if the ones that say yes, are they aware of these files, these portions, these pages that were removed that I'm discussing? Because I don't understand, I guess, this information, these pages that I'm going over, how one would believe that it exonerates Trump. To me, it does the, hold on, I'm trying to, sorry, trying to remove that poll from my screen. To me, it doesn't, what I'm reading to you all, it kind of does the opposite to me, but y'all, I don't know. It does the opposite to me. Here's another one, you all. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 or 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend alleged that President Trump, while performing oral sex, the friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. So, yeah, there's just multiple claims. So on some of these, they'll have a column for that'll say, let me turn my screen so you all can, maybe I'll do it this way. It says response column. So response column, so as you look at these pages, response column is them like following up on the tip. So, for example, what I just read under the response column, it says, spoke with caller who identified and it redacted a name as a friend, lead sent to Washington office to conduct interview. So there is a column like talking about like how they were following up on these complaints. You see on this second complaint that was reported, it says blank reported she has a friend who was a personal assistant to Epstein in Florida from 1986 until 91 or 92. The friend shared names of some of the guests of Epstein's parties to include Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. So that was one of the claims, one of the complaints statements, complainant statements. So in the response column, it says 2 voicemails left, no response received. So for some of these, even though like I'm listening, I'm sharing with you what these like egregious complaints were, there are responses, where people followed up on them. They couldn't reach the person who initially put the complaint in, like the person wasn't cooperating, or they found it questionable as far as the things that they were saying, so definitely download these documents for yourself so you can kind of see it and, up close to see kind of what I'm talking about. So I do want to add that with these complaints, that there were people who were like trying to kind of investigate them. Apparently, there were people who were allegedly were appearing at least to try to put forth the effort to try to learn more about the details of the allegations. Baby, it's a lot. I know it's a lot. I also recommend you all getting into Michael Wolff. So Michael Wolff, he's an author and a journalist. He's wrote multiple books, maybe like 3 to 4 books on Donald Trump. Donald Trump can't stand that man, y'all. I think I've seen recently Donald Trump is saying he's going to sue him for, putting these allegations out here about him and running around with young girls and Epstein. He was like, yo, I'm going to sue you. So, but get into Michael Wolff. Look into Michael Wolff. Michael, I talked about it last year on my channel in the summer, but Michael Wolff, he started sitting down with people last year, giving his perspective and sharing details about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, because Jeffrey Epstein wanted him to write a book on him. And Michael's like, I wasn't interested. But Jeffrey was like, no, like you really, Jeffrey, I think hit him up at like 2014 with wanting him to like come and sit down with him to hear what he has to say. He got some people that he could introduce him to that can also provide some insight on just his life, Donald Trump, everything. So that started in like 2014. And so eventually Michael Wolff was like, all right, then I'm gonna go and, hear you out and I'm gonna meet with you. So I think, they started talking. I think Michael started probably, I don't know if he started talking when he started talking to um, Jeffrey Epstein, it was after Donald Trump won the office the first time. So I think it was like 2017 when Michael Wolff went ahead and just started talking with Jeffrey Epstein. Let me see if I still got that email, if I have it up, but type in Google, in YouTube. I'm gonna tell you how to get to the interview if you want to hear what he has to say. Type in Michael Wolff and then Legal AF. Legal AF is the name of the YouTube channel that Michael Wolff did his interview on. Legal AF. So Legal AF. Let me see. Legal AF. I'm gonna show y'all what it looked like because I ain't gonna be able to play I'm not gonna be able to play the interview for you. I don't want it to get a copyright because child, they be sensitive about stuff. So I have to be selective about what I show you all on here. Let me see. So, history. Let me see. Let me see if I can watch it. Go to Legal AF, type in Michael Wolff. Because when I type him in, it's several things that come up for him. Is it this one? Let me see. It might be this one, might be the interview. Welcome to the Court of History. Okay, so I'm going to turn my screen around. Y'all see that bombshell Epstein emails released. So Legal AF. So this is showing from 2 months ago. But if you go to the YouTube channel Legal AF, it was maybe like 6 months ago. There was another interview where they did with this man right here. His name is Michael Wolff. Check out the interviews with Michael Wolff. You can look. He sat down with multiple people, but the interview that I watched was on the Legal AF YouTube. They have like over 1 million subscribers, and it was a really good interview. And so he talked about sitting down with Jeffrey Epstein after Trump won the presidency the first time. I think it was 2017 when he started talking to him because Michael Bannon, is that his name? Michael Bannon was also present for like some of the interactions he was having with Jeffrey Epstein. And Michael Bannon said that they were very concerned about Jeffrey Epstein kind of coming out speaking and kind of throwing a monkey wrench in his campaign that would kind of hurt him with the presidency. And Jeffrey Epstein was like, yeah, you should have been concerned, because I guess Jeffrey chose to kind of sit back and not come out and say anything. But he was like, yes, you definitely had a lot of reasons to be concerned about whether or not if I was going to come out speaking. So definitely check out the interview with Michael Wolff on the YouTube platform Legal AF. That's legal, and then the 2 letters A as in apple, F as in Fred. So check it out. Michael Wolff talked about how while he was meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, he saw Bill Gates. I think on his first meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, when he showed up, Bill Gates was present. Also, a lot of the interviews, he said, what's the Steve Bannon? Is that his name? Bannon, the Bannon guy? Is it Steve Bannon? Or Mike, is it Steve Bannon? Is that his name? Make sure I'm getting his name right. Because I think his name's Steve Bannon. Yeah, Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon was also present during a lot of these encounters between Michael Wolff, the journalist, and Jeffrey Epstein. And he said that Steve Bannon and Jeffrey Epstein both could not stand Donald J. Trump. He said both of them said they could not stand him, but they were fearful of him, but they could not stand him. They could not stand him. Jeffrey Epstein said the reason why he and Trump kind of had a falling out after like being like BFFs for like many years is because it was behind a real estate deal. Jeffrey Epstein invited Trump to, ask Trump to come and look at a property in Florida, to come look at a property that he was wanting to purchase and put a bid on. He wanted Trump's opinion on the something about the swimming pool, like, the placement of the swimming pool, if he were to move the swimming pool to a different part of the property, whatever. So Trump came through. They were friends at the time, gave his little advice. And then he was like, next thing you know, Trump went behind his back and outbid him for that very same property. He's like, he got pissed off, and it kind of like, that just kind of is how their relationship kind of went left. So this interview that, I'm telling you all about, Michael Wolff, the journalist, he talks about all of that. So definitely check it out. So he was like, Trump bought it behind his back. And he was like there after they had their falling out. That's when, ironically, the Popos rode up on him. And remember, he got, I think it was like 2003, the first time that he had gotten arrested behind these trafficking allegations. He believes that Trump was behind them coming, the arrest, because it happened like not long after they had their falling out. So to him, it made sense that Trump was behind it all because of the timing. Like at one minute, like we're good, and next minute, as soon as we're not good, the police are like on my doorstep. You see what I'm saying? So Epstein was like, okay, yeah. He went and dropped a dime on me. So that kind of, he said, is what had their relationship kind of go left. Yep, he said it was over a real estate deal. Where is this? Tim, you says, where is this in the February 2026 legally? Where is this in February 2026 legally? Are you talking to someone else? What's up, Tim? Are you talking to someone else? So yeah, check out the interview on Legal AF. That's the YouTube platform, with Michael Wolff. The interview that I'm referring to, it took place like 6 months ago. So when you go looking at their content, look for the interview they did 6 months ago with Michael Wolff. I think it's spelled with 2 F's. And he just talks about just sitting down with Epstein. He thought, Epstein was kind of like a weird guy, but Epstein had a lot of pictures and things of Trump that he would keep in a safe. So when they did that raid on like Epstein's house and when he got arrested, and initially, when they didn't release pictures and all this stuff early on, he was like, yo, there's pictures. I saw him. He knew that they left with the safe. But he was like, if they left with the safe, they would have these pictures, because every time I would go over there, Jeffrey Epstein would go to this safe and pull out the pictures that he would show me, and I would see him put it back in the safe. So if they say they left with the safe, that means they have the evidence. And you all, this is before any of the Epstein files were released. So he was like, yo, like there is evidence that has Trump tied up with Epstein, because in the pictures that Wolff was showing, he said in the pictures that Epstein was showing him, Wolff, you would see Trump in pictures with young girls. And one of the pictures was Trump had like a stain in his crotch. And there was young girls that were all like giggling and laughing and pointing at him. So clearly there was like a third person, maybe Epstein, I don't know, somebody who kind of was an onlooker looking at him, engaging with the young women and taking pictures. He said he's seen probably at least maybe about 3 pictures of things that was kind of memorable to him about Trump. So he was like, listen, the Department of Homeland Security, they have the evidence. They have what they need. It's just a matter of them releasing it. So now fast forward to present times, we've seen the information released. We've seen this information released. Like we've seen like the documents, there's pictures also, when you all go to, the website to look at the documents, there's pictures as well. Only how you can see the pictures, you all, is you'll have to download the documents in the zip file. When you do that, it's going to create a second file for images. When you click on that, then that's when you'll be able to see the pictures. So you're not going to just be able to go there and just click and see pictures. You got to kind of download. It's a whole process. It's a lot. So I haven't even gone through all that to look at all the pictures. I've just only kind of like seen the pictures that other people have kind of put out there, because it's a challenge to, like, you have to know exactly where to go to find what you're looking for, because the way the files and everything is formatted, it's not formatted kind of like by a naming convention where it'll say Jay-Z, Larry Levine. You see the Harry Levine, whatever his name is. You're not seeing, it's not labeled like that. You have to go through and like click on, and it's maybe like 12, I don't know. It's a lot, you all. So go to the website. So if you want to see these documents, this is the website. You can, let me show you all again. The Department of Justice. So it's justice.gov. Go here, and it's going to initially ask you a question right now. Let me try to go back so y'all can see. So this is the beginning. Epstein library. So justice.gov, and it'll initially ask you, like, are you at least 18? And you'll say yes. You know, if you're 18, you'll answer the question. Then it'll show you. Okay, let me show you all again with this page. Let me scroll. So once you say yes, it's going to take you here. So you all see it says court records. I'm going to click on court records. When I click on this, you all look at all this. Everything has a drop down. Ain't no way, like, who is sitting, like, to go through all that? But you got people out here on the internet who have gone through everything, like the Midas Touch, because that YouTube channel that has the deleted documents. There's people who got time to sit and go through all of this, because people know that people will go back and try to remove things or say, well, no, I didn't say that. I didn't put that out there. And they very much so did. You all see that? There's a lot. And you can just click on everything. So you have all of that. That's just one section. So let me go back. You all, that was just under court records. That's just on court records. DOJ disclosure. So the files that where the document was removed, like, so look at this. You see the data sets? You see that? There's 12. There's 12 data sets. So in them, look how many, like, there's a whole bunch in each data set. You see what I'm saying? So you have people who have literally gone through all of this. So I haven't. I kind of have been researching people who have, and then I'll pay attention to the document, like the naming convention. Like, say, for example, the way they're naming them is by numbers. So you see that, how this set is EFTA, all the zeros and a one. So I'll maybe be listening to someone, and I'll pay attention on the screen, the document number. And then up at the top, when you, from the home, you can do a search. Let me go back. You can do a search by that document number. This was the document number that I still have in here, of the one that had the information that was deleted, that the Department of Home, DHS, they went ahead and or the Department of Justice, DOJ went and removed. This is the document number. This is the document number. It came out of data set 10. But say I want to go to data set 10. It's saying it's been removed. It's page not found. So that means it was once in data set 10, but it has since been removed. Why do you think it was removed? Why was it removed? It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. So I guess they want to carry on like people didn't see it. I mean, I didn't initially see it, but like I said, I found someone online who saved the original document and who put it out there. So it's out there, you know, it's out there. It's been seen. It's been seen. Mark said, remember when Biden was president, nobody cared about this stuff. Let me see. JF says, but the Democrats would have done that and changed stuff. So you all, you know, you form your opinion. That's the, that's the latest with that. I will add to, back to, as far as, remember I told you, like the judge told, ICE, that they had to release Liam and Adrian, going back to that story. I also learned that there is a new, are you all familiar with the, let me see, what are they calling it? The 6-3 ruling. So apparently there was a ruling back on June 27, 2025. It was Trump versus Casa. Let me show you all. And it's centered around judges' decisions. You see that? In a significant 6-3 ruling on June 27, 2025, Trump versus Casa Inc., the Supreme Court ended the power of individual federal district judges to issue nationwide injunctions. The ruling fundamentally changed how immigration and other federal policies are litigated. So I wanted to go back to that because it relates to like the little baby, Liam and his dad, Adrian, and how a judge kind of came in and kind of overturned, the decisions or whatever that the ICE/Trump administration had made pertaining to the detainment of the father, Adrian Arias. So the change is that, you all, there's an end of nationwide freezes. A single federal judge can no longer freeze a presidential policy for the entire country. Party-specific relief. If a judge finds a policy illegal, they can now only stop it from being applied to a specific person or organization actually named in that lawsuit. Complete relief exception. A judge can still issue a broader order only if it is the only way to provide complete relief to the specific person who's sued. Ongoing lawsuits. Plaintiffs seeking to block a policy nationwide must now use class action lawsuits, which have much stricter legal requirements. So this is saying no longer like can a judge do a ruling and just encompass like a lot of people just by saying like, okay, I want to, the judge rules that, okay, Trump, you can't remove Haitians from the U.S. who came over here underneath the temporary protection order from like Biden. Like it's saying that the judge can't like implement something like nationwide. It has to be specific names. What's up, Tim? It has to be specific names named in the documents. Unless it's there, the suit was filed under a class action lawsuit. Otherwise, there can no longer be any blanketed, like, okay, for across the nation or for the state of California, you can't remove illegal immigrants. Like you have to have the specific names. So that's a change. That's something that took place. And I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I feel like I reported some on it last summer, but I'm not sure because I report on a lot of information on here because there are a lot of moving parts and a lot of people aren't familiar with some of these new changes and things. Also effective today, Trump put a halt on the funds, state funds. Let me see if I can find that for the sanctuary cities. Y'all know that, like effective today, like sanctuary cities, he's put a halt on the funding. Let me see if I have that up, if I still have that up. I'll give you all the information on that one because that's a big one as well. Funding, halted on sanctuary. Okay, let me see. All right, so let me see if I can find this. Because this take effect today, February 1st, with this halt on the funding for sanctuary cities. As of today, President Trump has said he would begin halting funding for sanctuary cities. The president has alluded to this several times in recent weeks, including the True Social posts. So right now I'm looking at newsnow.com. So let me change it. So I'm looking at newsnow.com. Sanctuary cities no longer getting funding. No longer getting funding. The president has alluded to this several times in recent weeks, including the True Social post announcing that the deadline is saying that if the states want sanctuary cities, they will have to pay for them. He also spoke about it when he was recently in Davos. Quote, I have directed that starting immediately, there will be no more payments to sanctuary cities because they are really just sanctuaries for criminals. They're really protecting criminals, and those are the ones we have to get out of this country, end quote, Trump previously said. Judge orders release of Minneapolis boy and his father. So, sanctuary cities, he's stopping funding of them. But I don't know if you all knew. You all remember when it was like last month he had stopped the funding for like the programs that provided money for like childcare and things. And then like so a judge maybe like a week ago ordered for him to pay out them funds. The judge or they was like, no, you can't do that. I didn't talk about this on this channel, but I ended up learning that a judge ordered for him. It was on a Friday. So a judge ordered for him as of this past Monday to start releasing funding to these programs that funded like, the local, like the child care for people who needed, government assistance, with helping them with childcare and everything like that. Trump had kind of halted that. He was requiring for these states to provide, I think, documents and things like that to support the need for this funding for families. He wanted to make sure that they were legit and all of that. So he halted the funding. But a judge came back and ruled and said, no, you cannot do that. You cannot do that. Starting by Monday, you need to release those funds. Let me see. What was that court rules? Let me see what that was called. Court. Okay, yeah. So I don't think this is that one. Let me see which one that was. With the child care, let me see. What was the funding Trump stopped for child? Let me see, for child care. Because the judge came back and was like, no, no, no. Okay, so let's look. In January 26, Trump administration moved to freeze approximately $10 billion in federal funding, primarily targeting child care and family assistance programs in 5 Democrat-led states. Specific programs impacted the U.S. Department of Health and Services, specifically targeted major funding streams. Child Care and Development Fund, nearly $2.4 billion used for child care subsidies for low-income families. Temporary assistance for needy families. TANF, $7.35 billion for cash assistance and support for households with children. Social Services block grant. SSBG, $869 million for various services, including child protective services and daycare. Affected states. Freeze initially focused on 5 states, California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York, though the administration also introduced new verification requirements for all 50 states to access CCDF funds. So a judge came back, you all, and said, you can't do that. You have to release those funds. Judge ruled for funds to be. So I wanted to bring this up because I'm just wondering if the same thing would happen with a judge coming in and ruling against him stopping the funds for the sanctuary cities. So listen. On January 23rd, the U.S. District Judge Vernon Broderick in Manhattan ruled that the Trump administration must continue releasing the $10 billion in federal funds for child care and social services to 5 Democratic led states. So he was like, listen, you need to go ahead and cut the check. You need to go ahead and cut the check. So it was like on like a Friday that was ordered, and it was saying, hey, by Monday, you need to start paying out these funds to child care. So given that a judge came in, because y'all know most of the time when Judge Trump makes these decisions, there's a judge or a local like judge, a district judge or something that'll come in and go against what he, implemented, and then he got to raise it up to the Supreme Court. Y'all know how it goes. It's always like this process. So I'm wondering if the same thing will likely happen with him, with the sanctuary city situation, with him cutting the funds for the sanctuary cities. I'm wondering if if a judge will come through and say, listen, you can't do that. Like, I'm just so used to seeing that happen. I just feel like that is going to happen as well. It's going to happen again. Let me see. All right, let's see. Okay, so remember I said I think a judge is going to come in and try to stop him from doing it. So remember, as of February 1st, 2026, legal experts and recent court actions suggest it is highly likely that the judges will rule against any unilateral attempt by the president, by Trump administration, to withhold all federal funds from sanctuary cities. Judges have consistently cited several constitutional and statutory pillars that restrict the president's ability to freeze such funds. Historical precedent, existing injunctions, active court blocks in August 2025 and again in January 2026, federal judges issued preliminary injunctions specifically barring the administration from withholding funding to over 30 jurisdictions, including Los Angeles, Chicago, and Boston. And it also mentions that child care funding reversal that the judge ruled on recently on January 23rd, 2026, where the judge said, hey, you cannot withhold these funds. So let me see. Let's go to this point too, where it says constitutional power of the purse. Separation of power, Article 1, Section 9 of the Constitution grants Congress, not the president, the power of the purse. So there's he does not have the power to make such decisions. Impoundment Control Act 1974, this law explicitly prohibits a president from unilaterally refusing to spend money that Congress has already appropriated unless they follow specific notification and approval procedures through Congress. Number 3, the 10th Amendment, anti-commandeering, federal coercion. Courts have frequently ruled that the federal government cannot use the threat of withholding unrelated funds to coerce states and cities into enforcing federal immigration laws, which is considered a violation of state sovereignty. Spending clause, for a president to place conditions on federal grants like requiring cooperation with ICE, those conditions must be clearly stated by Congress at the time the funds are offered. Exceptions and current uncertainties, targeted grants. While broad funding freezes are likely to be struck down, the administration may have more success withholding specific Department of Justice, DOJ law enforcement grants if the language of those particular grants already allows for immigration-related compliance conditions. Recent procedural setbacks. On January 31st, 2026, a federal judge in Minnesota declined to halt a federal immigration surge, Operation Metro Surge, signaling that while judges may protect funding, they may be more hesitant to interfere with active federal enforcement operations. So basically, they're unless in the beginning, whatever the program was, it talked about things centered around immigration and such requirements and all of that, you can't come back and try to use that as a requirement. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of change up the rules. It's if it wasn't part of the fine print in the beginning, when a program was implemented, they're okay, well, you can't kind of come back and kind of add these new rules that now you're saying that people got to kind of apply to. You have to go through Congress, that's their lane. It's not the president's lane. Only Congress can kind of go in and kind of make the changes or the adjustment. Crazy, yo. It is crazy. It is crazy. It's a lot. I know I hit y'all with a lot tonight. It's a lot going on. but it's information that is very beneficial for you to know. So therefore, you know how to move out here in these streets. So let's see. Let's check out. So our poll, did the latest release of the Epstein's file clear Trump of any wrongdoings? 50% say yes, 50% say no. Wow. 50-50. I would say that's probably the first in my polls that I've done where it landed, it ended up being 50-50. It's quite interesting. I would love, maybe you guys have put it in the chat already, but I really would like to know if the 50-50, those who were saying like, yes, like it proves like he is good, like is that factoring in these pages that was removed from the Epstein files? Or were you aware that there were pages that were removed, pages that actually specifically named him that got removed? And I'm talking about the recent dump, where the recent documents that they released. There were documents that were released, or pages from the data dump that included Trump's name, and it went viral. It's out there. You can kind of Google it. Look, go to Midas Touch, and you can find the documents that were removed from the files. Because after it started going viral, then the DOJ went in and removed the documents. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, be a part of the replay gang, and I went through all the details with how you can find these documents, to read, to download, to print, to kind of get into and really form your opinion based on the most informed information, because that's what it's about. I try to locate information and bring it all to you and allow you to kind of come to your own conclusions, opinions, or whatever, based on the information that is presented. Because at the end of the day, that's all we got is the information that is presented. And the DOJ did go back and try to kind of renege, be like, yeah, my bad, we didn't mean to put that out. But listen, once it hits the internet, it's like, that's like forever. It's like, it's out there. So these documents are out there. It's not looking good for President Trump in that regard. I'm curious to hear what Carolyn B. Lyon-Levitt, I call her Carolyn B. Lyon-Levitt because, child, I'm curious to know what she's going to say at the next press conference, because I feel like it's going to be one of them days to where she's going to talk about the weather, government shutdown, whatever, and people going to circle back around to the Epstein files. Y'all remember that last year? Like every time she can be talking about there was a fire up the street. Okay, now can we talk about what with the Epstein? Like they will not be. Y'all gonna see. Watch when that woman come on that podium. They not gonna give a damn about what she talking about if it ain't them Epstein files. I guarantee you, all those questions are predominantly going to be related to Epstein files, and she be sitting while and y'all know she pregnant. Them hormones, folks probably gonna be getting cussed out. Folks probably be getting cussed out because y'all know Caroline can be on one. She got them days when she be like, listen, don't start none, won't be none. Don't be asking those stupid questions because this is not what we here for. We here to talk about the damn fire. You want to talk about this. This is not what y'all going to be able to pick up the energy when she's at work. The next time she show up to work, you're going to pick up the energy, because I promise you the bulk of the questions are going to be centered around the Epstein files, because whenever there's these documents released, that is just the only thing that people want to talk about, and that pisses her off, the administration off. I'm also wondering what's going to be the next big distraction, because y'all know like the Epsteins go hard until there's like a new big thing that happened, and then suddenly nobody talking about the Epstein files, and then they come back. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a game. It's kind of like double dutch. You jump in and jump out. So I'm like, damn, what is going to be the next big thing that's going to hit the media, that's going to have, the attention to move away from the Epstein files? Because right now, all eyes is on Trump when it comes to these Epstein files, and he's going to want to move that attention away. And the Trump administration is going to work very, very hard to do that. The question is, how will they do that? Second question is, when will they do it? Because I assure you, it will be done. But the thing about it, the people still don't forget, It's just that now the attention is now. Y'all know we got short attention spans and we be losing focus, but we always still seem to circle back around to these Epstein files. We always circle back around to them. And I don't think this is going to be any different. They're just going to have to plan something really big that's going to have to take the people's attention away, because right now Trump is in the hot seat. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. Watch, I bet you one of them reporters gonna ask if there was files removed. Why did the DOJ go back and remove? I feel like, y'all, that is going to be one of the questions that someone is going to ask Caroline or somebody under the Trump administration. They're going to be like, yo, like, okay, so is it true? Were there files removed from... I'm telling y'all, y'all know Caroline or Ramon, she pregnant. Listen, somebody gonna get the business. It's just gonna be a matter of who is going to get the business that day. But she is gonna snap on somebody behind these files. She gonna snap. She already knows she is, because I've been watching her long enough. I just know she don't like to talk about like the Epstein files. Like that's just like her sensitive spot. You know, immigration, she don't like that either. But really, them Epstein files, baby, do not talk about them Epstein files. She don't want to talk about it. She do not want to talk about it. But you like, baby, it's the elephant in the room. It's the elephant in the room. It's the elephant in the room. So that's on that. I know we covered a lot. I hope you all like, share, and subscribe. Definitely come back. Welcome to all my recent new subscribers. I try to stay tapped in. I go live usually on the weekends. I used to do like car chronicles during the week, and I'll drive and do all that. But as of late, I've been kind of hopping on in the evening on the weekends. So that's usually anytime between Friday and Sunday. On a good weekend, you might get 2 lives out of me. But as you see, my lives are kind of lengthy. So I don't go live like all the time during the week. So maybe once or twice. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you can catch me live. But if you do happen to miss a live, definitely be a part of the replay game. And have you completed the poll? Like, what do you feel? You feel like Trump has been exonerated? Or do you think like, nah, I don't know. Like, I don't know about all that shit. Exonerate, that's a strong word. That's real strong. So I'm going to continue to be tapped in and watch how all of this unfold. And yeah, so if you have any questions, learn any information, please feel free to drop a comment on my videos. I like to read comments. I'll respond to them. It's a lot moving parts. I don't claim to know everything. So if you have any updated information, corrections to anything that I've put out there, please feel free to come back respectfully, provide your update, your opinions or assessments about anything that you see taking place in these American streets, because listen, it's rough and tough out here. So we all can just work together to try to stay in the know about what is going on out here. AI has not said happy Black History Month, by the way. It is Black History Month, February 1st. It is on and popping. Black History Month. A lot of Black folk is going to be impacted by this cut in benefits starting February 1st, the change with the, also, I didn't talk about this tonight, but I have before, the change with the EBT, how you got to work X amount of hours, child. I might have to on my next live do a recap on what that means, because that also has taken place. That was a part of the big, beautiful bill. So listen, you got to work X amount of hours to be able to collect these benefits. No more just sitting at home, getting your car loaded up. Some of these people with their EBT card, they can't even buy soda, sugary foods, all of that. Like, child, it's so much. It's so much. See, that's why these lives be so long, because I be trying to, let y'all know everything that I know, because I know a lot of information. But just stay tuned. Stay tuned. I will come back with you with more updates on the madness that's taking place in these American streets, because I call it the madness, because it's a lot going on and only the strong can survive. So I always say, take care of yourselves and one another. Heavy on the taking care of yourself. There's a lot going on. So you need to make sure that you take care of your mentals, because when this breaks down, the body starts to break down. So you want to prioritize your mental health. Do whatever it takes but put this first because you need this to function through all this madness that's taking place. Take care of yourselves and one another. AI says, you doing right. Keep talking about everything. Thank you so much. I do my best to just talk about the things that a lot of people aren't really talking about, or at least talking about in depth. For whatever reason, why they don't. But over here, I have the freedom to talk about these things that are important to me and things that I think are important to a lot of other people. So I'm grateful to have a platform to create a space where you all can kind of have dialogue, healthy dialogue with one another about the things that are taking place here in the U.S. I know I have people who follow me from all over the world, and I thank you so much. But child, it's going down these American streets. I know it's going down in your parts too, but baby, I can only speak on these American streets, and it is not for the faint at heart. It is not. It is not. Everybody need to make sure they take their vitamin supplements every day, not every other day, but every day. It's hard. I say it's hard out here for a pimp. I really mean that. Pimping is not easy. It is not easy. Ask little baby Liam Ramos. He 5 and he done already learned. It is a hard knock life. Baby Ramos learned already at 5. This is a hard knock life. So on that note, I will catch you all on the next podcast.